morning students, welcome to Gyanjyoti online classes. Today we discuss our 9th chapter, that is Introduction to C++. So before starting the C++, you have some idea about C, right? You know something about C. So what is C++? C++ is an extension to C language. Okay, this is the extension to C language, and it was developed by Apprasen Strostrup at Bell Labs. It was developed in Bell Labs, and C++ is an intermediate level language. It is an intermediate level language as it comprises a conformation of both high level and low level language features. It comprises a conformation of both high level and low level language features. C++ is a statistical type, free form and multi-paradigm combined general purpose language. C++ is a statistical type, free form, multi-paradigm and combined general purpose language. And C++ is an object-oriented programming language, but it is not purely object-oriented. C++ is also an object-oriented programming, but it is not purely object-oriented. But C is an object-oriented programming. Okay, and it features like friend and virtual, Violet, some of the very important OOPS features, and rendering this language all worthy of being completely object oriented, and it is a middle level language. C++ is a middle level language. So this is the introduction to C++. Now we know about the benefits of C++ over C language. We know a little bit about C language, and now we know the benefits of C++ over C language. Benefits of C++ over C language. That is what benefits of C++ over the C language. The major difference being concept. C++ is an object-oriented language. Before also I told C++ is an object-oriented language. That is also known as object-oriented language. Whereas C language is a procedural language. So C language is a procedural language and C++ is an object-oriented language. Apart from this, there are many other features of C++ which make this language superior to C language. Means that C++ language is superior from the C language. Some features of C++ are, the first feature is, there are some features of C++ are there to the C language, and the first feature is C++ provides stronger type checking in C++ than C. That means it check the stronger type than the C language. What type of stronger are checked by C? The C++ is checking some better from the C. And all the OOPS features in C++ like abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, it all things are made more worthy and useful for programmers. In C++, abstraction, encapsulation and inheritance. You have to remember these three things. One is abstraction, one is encapsulation and another is inheritance. These three things are a major feature in C++. Next third feature is expectation handling in C++. But in C, no expectation handling are there, but in C++, expectation handling are there. Next, which C++ has concept of virtual function and also constructor and destructor for object. But in C, these two things are not there. But in C++, has the concept of virtual function and also the constructor and destructor for objects. Next feature is our inline function in C++ instead of macros in C language, and inline functions make complete function body act like macro and safely. C++ is very safely, and we can use the instead of macro in C language. In C language we are using the macro language, and we can use C++ instead of macro language. The sixth feature is variable can be declared anywhere in the program in C++, but must be declared before they are used. In C++, what the variables are there, we have to declare that first. Before we use that things, we must have to declare the variables. The next is our basic concept of object-oriented programming. Basic concepts. Basic concept of object-oriented programming. That is also known as OOP. That is also called as OOP. So what are the basic concept of object-oriented programming or program? So object-oriented program is a programming style that is associated with the concept of objects. So OOPS is a programming style that is associated with the concept of objects. Through the object, it associated the programming, and having data field and related member functions. So in object, it should have the data fields and related member functions. Objects are instances of classes and are used to interact among each other to create applications. So objects are the instances of classes and are used to interact among each other to create an application. An instance means the object of class on which we are currently working, and C++ can set it to be C language with classes. In C++, we have to give that, and C++ can set to be as C language with the classes. And in C++, everything revolves around object of class which have their methods and data members. In C++, everything is resolved around object of class and which have their methods and data members. So what is the basic concept? You can draw that. Basic concept of OOP. Okay, basic concept, basic of OOP. In the concept also you can write basic of OOP. The first is our encapsulation. The first is encapsulation. Right? The another is inheritance. And one another basic of OOP is that is abstraction. And one more basic of OOP is there, that is polymorphism. So in basic of OOP, there are some concepts are there, but these four are impacted majorly example. For that, let us consider a human body as a class. Okay, one human body we consider as a class. So we do have a multiple objects of this class with variable, and the variables are color, hair, and these things are the variables, because all the human in a human body there are different colors are there, means all the human body are not equal color. So color we can take as a variable, and hair also we can take as a variable. In methods, in a human body, if we are taking the human body as a class, then the methods are walking, speaking. What we are doing, that are called methods. Okay. Now we know some of the main features of object-oriented programming which we will be using in C++. Now we know about some basic concepts we already know, and what object-oriented concepts we are using in C++. Now we discuss. The first concept is our object. The first concept is our object. So what is an object? Why we use that in C++? Objects are the basic unit of OOP, and they are instance of class which have data members and use various member functions to perform tasks. So what is the objects? Objects are the basic unit of OOP. This is the basic unit of OOP. OOP is object oriented programming, and they are instance of classes which have data member and use various member functions to perform tasks. Next is our class. Next is our class. It is a similar to structures in C language. It is a similar structure C language, and a class is basically a blueprint for an object, and it declares and defines what data variables the object will have to have and what operations can be performed on the class object. These all things we are doing on the class. So what is class? It is a similar to structure in C language, and a class is basically a blueprint of an object. This is a blueprint of an object, and it declares and defines what the data variable the objects will have and what orientation can be performed on the classes object, what it will perform on the operations and can be performed in that object. These all things are performed in class object. Third is our abstraction. The third thing is our abstraction. So what is the abstraction doing in C++? Why we use the abstraction? Abstraction refers to an act of showing only the essential features of the application and hiding the details. Abstraction refers to an act of showing only the essential feature. In abstraction, it is showing only the essential feature and the applications which are essential for C++ and hiding the details. It will hide the details. It only shows the essential feature of the application. Next is our encapsulation. So what is the encapsulation? Why we need encapsulation in C++? It can be said data binding. Encapsulation, we can also tell that encapsulation is a data binding. It is work as data binding in C++. And encapsulation is all about binding the data, variables and functions together in a class. We are defining all the things in our class, and the class should to bind all the things in that program. For that we are using the encapsulation. So encapsulation is the data binding, and encapsulation is all about binding the data variables and functions together class. Encapsulation is bind the data and it stores all the data in the class. Next concept is our inheritance. So what is inheritance and why is it used the inheritance in C++? Inheritance is a way to reuse once written code again and again. When we write one code and we want to execute that code again and again, then we use their inheritance. So a class which is inherited is called base class and the class which inherit is called derived class. So there are two things we can now learn, that is one is derived class and one is base class. So what is base class? The class which is inherited is called base class and the class which inherit is called derived class. The next is our polymorphism. The sixth is polymorphism. Polymorphism makes the code more readable and it is a feature which lets it create function with same name but different arguments which will perform differently. Polymorphism make the code more readable, okay, and it is a feature which lets it create function with same name but different arguments which will perform differently. Next 7 is our overloading. So what is the overloading? Overloading is a part of polymorphism where a function or operator is made and defined many times to perform different functions. They are said to be overloaded. So what is overloading? Overloading is a part of polymorphism. This is a part of polymorphism, and where a function or operator is made to define many times to perform different functions, they are said to be overloaded. The next is our exception handling. It is exception handling. So what is the exception handling? Exception handling is a feature of it to handle unresolved exceptions or errors processed at runtime. When we are running a program, some errors occur. So which error occurs? The unresolved exceptions or errors, that all things are handled by the exception handling. Next we will learn about syntax and structure of C++ program. Next we will learn about syntax and structure of C++ program. So what are the syntax? How we write the program for C++. For that, now I will write a small program to print welcome to C++ program. Okay. For that, this is the header file. Okay. Next. header files are included at the beginning, just like in C program. You know about C program, and like C program, in C++ also one header file is there. Here IOStream is a header file which provides us with input and output streams. This is the header file. Okay. This header file contains pre-declared functions, libraries which can be used by the user for their case. Okay. Next is using namespace std. It tells the compiler to use standard namespace and namespace collections identifiers used for class, object and variables. Next is our main function. This is the main function. So the main function is the function which holds the executing part of program and it returns type in int. Okay, it returns the type in int. Next is cout. This one. It is used to print anything on screen and save as printf in C language. You know, in C language for printing we are using the printf, and in C++ we are using cout for printing. That means in cout part we have write the sentence. In C++ programming, when it will execute, it write the same, means it print the same sentence. Okay. Only difference is that we do not need to mention format specifiers like %d for int and in count and cin. Next is our decision making statements. What are the decision making statements? In C++, what are the decision making statements are there? Decision making structures require that the programmer specifies one or more conditions to be evaluated or tested by the program, along with the statement or statements are executed if the condition is determined to be true, and optionally other statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be false. So in C++ language, it provides some types of decision making statements. So now you learn about the statements. In statements, the first statement is our if statement. What is the use of if statement? An if statement consists of a Boolean expression followed by one or more statements. So in if statement consists of a Boolean expression followed by one or more statements. Next is our if else statement. If else statement. In if else statement, it can be followed by an optional else statement which executes when the Boolean expression is false. Okay, it executes it followed by an optional statement and which executes when the Boolean expression is false. The third statement is a switch statement. What is the switch statement? A switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against the list of values. Switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of variables. Next is our nested if statement. What is nested if statement? So what is the nested if statement? You can use one if or else if statement inside another if or else if statements. Okay. Next is nested switch statement. Next one, nested if statement. Nested switch statement. So what is the nested switch statement? You can use one switch statement inside another switch statements. In nested switch statement, you can use one switch statement inside another switch statements. Next one is all about loops in C++. So you know about loops. So what is the use of loops in C++? Loops in C++. The loops are used to execute a set of statements to a certain number of times. Suppose we want to execute a statement 15 times. Okay, if we want to execute one statement, execute a statement 15 times, then what we will do? First, we have to write the statement 15 times, but this will make the program cumbersome and will require a lot of time. If we write the same statement 15 times, then it will take so many times. And in order to overcome this problem, loops are used. If we make that statement in loop, then we don't have to write that things in 15 times. In looping, some conditions are checked and the sequence of statements are executed until those conditions are satisfied. The loops is running. If the condition means how many times the condition is not satisfied, the loop has to come. The statements will not execute if the condition of loop is not satisfied. In which statement the loop condition is not satisfied, then the loop will stop the execution. So there are some different types of loops are there in C++. The first is our for loop. The first loop is our for loop. Next is while loop. The last loop is our do while loop. So first I will tell, in for loop, the statement will means the for loop works do this for this loop. Then it is used in for loop. In while loop, execute this line while the statement is there. In while we have to give the condition. While condition, if it is satisfied in that while loop, then it will execute. Otherwise, stop. Otherwise, the loop will stop there. And in do while loop, do while the condition there we have to give, and do while the condition. If the condition is satisfied, then the loop will execute. Else, it will stop executing. So first, we discuss the for loop. So this loop is used to execute a set of statements to be certain number of times. Okay, this loop is used to execute a set of statements to a certain number of times. The first statement consists of a keyword, that is for. It contains the for keyword statement and three expressions in the parenthesis separated by semicolons. So for loops, the syntax is our for loop syntax is, first we have to give the condition and we have to write this. Next we have to write sequence of statements. syntax of for loop. Next is our while loop. So in while loop, the loop statement repeatedly executes sequence of statements as long as given condition is true. Before also I told, so in while loop, when we are giving the condition to the loop, then it will execute the conditions when the condition is true. At that time, it will execute the sequence of that statements. And for that, the syntax is how we write the while loop. For that, the syntax is our while condition. In while, we have to give the conditions. Next, we have to start the curly braces. Here we have to give the here we have to write the statements. Next, sequence of statements. Next, we have to close the curly braces. This is the syntax for while loop. Next is do while loop. The last loop is our do while loop. So in do while loop, the do while loop is almost the same as the while loop. And do something fast and then test if we have to continue, or the result is that the loop always runs once, because the expression test comes afterward. Okay. In do loop, so in do while loop, we have to give the conditions. If do these things, if the condition is satisfied, while the condition is not satisfied, then it will stop working and it will execute the last expression. So for that, syntax is, this is the syntax for do while loop. So the syntax is do. In do, first we have to give one condition. After that, next we have to give do something. After that, we have to close the first curly braces. Next we have to write while expression. In while, we have to give the condition. Here we have to give the statement what we want to write, and in while we have to give the expression. So in loop, first it execute this statement, it will print once. After that, it will go to the expression. If the expression is true, then it will again execute these things. If the expression is false, then it will not satisfied with that statement and it will stop execute that statement and it will go to the last statement. Okay, this is all about the introduction to C++. Just remember all the things and try to remember all the syntax, because when we write the programs, first we have to remember the syntax. For that, just